Wait, nope, didn't work. 1, 2, 3.
I started the recording, okay.
It's fine.
Hi, folks, and welcome to Toonkind at 12 frames per second. I am Authorticity. Today I will be playing the Ticked Off Chicken. I am joined by the wonderful, the infamous...
I am Oatmeal, and today I will be playing the Professor.
I'm so excited. So, we start our story today on the steps of the infamous Toonkind Public Library, to which the professor has come today with glorious purpose. What you up to, Professor?
He several things. Mostly he wants to learn anything and everything he can about Toonkind, and what better place than the Toontown Library. But he also is particularly intrigued because he has heard somehow that he has heard rumors that there is a dungeon underneath the Toontown Library, and he's been to lots of libraries, and honestly, that's not a common feature.
Sure isn't. And the dungeon is made out of books. Like, there's more books than like in the library, library dungeon. So who knows, maybe it's like thematical, maybe it's all books on like bricklaying and torture devices down there. You don't know. So you make your way up the steps and into the atrium. There's, the front desk, there's the new releases, I imagine. And would you like to roll me a perception check?
Absolutely. Okay. Okay. 14 plus 3, that's 17. Too many tabs open. All right. Got a 17.
17. Well, yeah, that like nothing in this room is really hidden. It's a public library. You hear the quiet footsteps of patrons, librarians. It sounds like someone's doing a gag over like a couple rooms over, and you can kind of like hear that sort of ambient explosion noise that's really more common on Inkwell than you might expect. And sort of underneath that that sort of explosion noise on the other side, sort of towards the nonfiction, you hear, I mean, you're not quite sure, but it kind of sounds like there's a chicken in here. Like, just a really irate chicken.
Oh my gosh. Okay, honestly, between the explosion and the chicken's more interesting. He's gonna go over there.
Explosions in the library, we've all seen it, but a chicken, that's something new.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, sure enough, you round the corner. I imagine there's, a couple steps. Maybe you have to go up some, go down some. There's maybe some MC Escher-ish stairs that you have to get.
Love it. Nice.
And the nonfiction area is, you'd be hard pressed to find a person who doesn't love books, and even for such a fanciful place, the nonfiction area is a thing of beauty. It's like very tall, like 9 bookshelves, Like the sort of armchairs that every library needs that are like really plush. Some of them are leather, some of them are velvet, but like either way, like you're going to sink into them like a beanbag chair. But there's also some tables, like the really large ones that you can just sort of like take over with whatever project you're working on. Which is exactly what one of the other patrons seems to have done. You see, it looks like there's some gardening books, there's some history books. There's one that just says how to read, but in really tiny script. The complete annotated version. And sort of in the middle of these piles is, I mean, it just looks like a chicken. Like, not even a cartoon chicken. Although they do have some cartoon angry eyebrows. But it just looks like a chicken. What do you do?
Oh my goodness. I think he's going to go up to the table and just sort of put his hands on it and lean in and just be like, "Do you know where the dungeon is?"
This little black hen looks up from the letter they're writing, and like they already had sort of a frustrated sort of expression on their face, and that sort of carries forward as they sort of glance up at you from underneath their brows, and they sort of put down their pen and they sign. Why would I know where? Is there a dungeon here? Except you don't get that, do you?
No, he does not know Toonkind.
So the chicken has shot you a very stern look, and they've done something with their wings.
Oh boy. Oh wait. Oh god, I forgot he has spells. I forgot he has spells. Oh, Professor. Let's see. What can he use? Oh.
Sorry, I just checked in with the nuts and bolts gallery. There's a chicken loose in the library.
Okay, he's gonna try something. He's going to oh wait, what? Oh no, he's not gonna do that. No, he's going to cast tongues on himself. It is a touch-based spell. Lasts for 1 hour. Spell grants the creature you touch the ability to understand any spoken language it hears. Moreover, when the target speaks himself, any creature that knows at least one language and can hear the target understands what it says. So what he's hoping to get from this is a verbal translation. But if they just communicate in sign, that's going to do him nothing and just waste a third level spell slot. So he has cast this.
I have some bad news.
Oh no!
I have some very bad news. This chicken has worked very hard to learn sign language. Like, it will not occur to them to try speaking in chicken.
Oh no!
Actually, I'm gonna go one step further and say that speaking chicken wouldn't work, because at no point was this just like a Toonkind chicken. This was a real kind chicken.
Oh.
So, yeah. They sort of see you. They sort of see you do that.
It does say creature, so I think it might work on a animal mechanically in D&D, but I don't. I'm not sure. It isn't speak with animals, but I don't know. But in any case, yeah, if they're not speaking chicken, then this is no help at all.
Yeah, they're very specifically. I mean, they see you like cast a spell on yourself, and they're like,
right.
Oh, okay, maybe I can. And then they sign it again, like, no, I'm afraid I don't know where the dungeon is, and they wait for a response.
Oh, okay. Oh, geez. Okay. He's going to try. No, he's not going to try that. No, because he can tell. It seems as if the chicken can understand him, but not vice versa. He looks kind of frustrated and looks like not frustrated at he looks away and makes like a frustrated face and taps his fingers against the table, just like trying to think of something else. And then see, does he have anything in his pack that he can use? Does he have any? He has. Oh my god, you have one sheet of paper? Why do you have one sheet of paper? he takes out his one sheet of paper and the ink pen and just sort of gives an apologetic look and says like, I'm sorry, I haven't learned all of the local languages yet.
Oh, well, the chicken looks at your piece of paper and waves you off, and they just flip to a new page in their notebook and grab their own pencil, and they sign or they write, "No, that's okay. Learning languages is difficult. I should know. I'm afraid I don't know where the dungeon is. I'm sorry."
Mm-hmm. All right. He nods his head.
Actually, do you want... Actually, hang on. I need to roll a history.
Oh, sure.
That's a 2.
Oh,
I mean,
no.
there are many sort of... No, I'll leave that detail for maybe later on. Maybe they can roll another history check later.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they they sort of they sort of take a deep breath and it kind of looks like they're trying to calm themselves down. And then they write again in much more legible handwriting now. Why do you need the dungeon?
Oh, I was just curious about it. I heard there was a dungeon here, and I've never been to a library dungeon before, which is saying something since I travel quite a bit.
I think that they consider this, and they nod. That's reasonable, maybe. And they write, "I am the ticked off chicken. It's very nice to meet you."
Oh, where have my manners gone? I'm the professor. Pleasure to meet you, ticked off chicken.
TOC for short. What are you a professor
TOC. Of? Oh, this and that.
Cool. They actually write that just sounds legit. They haven't been to college.
Fair. What are you working on here? Gardening?
They kind of sigh, and they twist more of the piles of books around. They've got a bunch here. It's not saying much because they're a chicken and chickens are very light, but the amount of books that are on this table outweighs them. There's quite a lot of history books. There's some gardening books. There's some wildflower identification books. There's one on, it looks like Faruman mythology. There's a couple on mechanics that are pushed off very like far down the table. Like they're, it looks like very basic, like this is thermodynamics, this is basic physics.
Nice.
Like and they're just sort of like they've sort of ensconced themselves, and I mean, your name's the professor. You've probably seen like a university student or a scholar sequester themselves for like several days in order to study. It kind of looks like they were planning to do that, but also like they failed step one in some way. Like they just sort of look very frustratedly around the different books. But they what they rate is just I mean, this and that's a pretty good word for it.
Are you stuck on something?
No, I'm gonna roll for this. All right. They start to sign something, and then they're like, wait, no, shit. And then they pick up the notebook again, and they write, reading is a little bit difficult for me, more than some, especially when I get a little frustrated. And you can actually look, a couple books have been thrown across the room. And like one's a dictionary and the other looks like almost like an old-fashioned like school primer. And they sign, or they try to sign, realize that's not going to work, and do the notebook again. I might have to try again on a different day. And they sign, or again, they write, frankly, I'm just glad that I can write right now, because that also comes and goes.
And he nods, and he sort of frowns thoughtfully, and says, do you have audiobooks in Inkwell?
I, the player, don't know if we have audiobooks or not. I'm gonna say yes, because audiobooks are a wonderful thing that makes stories more accessible to folks. But let's see here.
But TOC may not know this.
I'm rolling for it. I'm rolling history.
Yeah.
13. They sign. Again, they start to sign. This time, I think that like they make a little frustrated chicken noise. And they just sort of pick up the notebook, like, I'm going to keep this in my wings. I'm not going to put it down this time. And they write, I think we do. I don't have like a record player though, other than the one that's at the one my roommate has.
He looks thoughtful again, taps the side of his face, and then he says, I wonder if the library has their own device that they could let you borrow.
They look thoughtful along with you. They say, or they write, perhaps I'll go ask. Thank you. That's a very good idea.
Oh, sure.
And I think they actually they hop off their chair, which is a little bit of a production because this is a very short bird. And they take a couple steps sort of in the direction of the front desk. And then they stop and they turn around and they write and show to you that they've written. Would you like some help finding the library dungeon?
I would. You probably know this place better than I do.
They emphatically shake their head.
Oh, well, maybe at least the front desk will, if that's where we're going.
So, I imagine we make our way to the front desk. The librarian on call today is a very short, kind of squat woman who, she's sitting at a decrepit looking computer, but instead of doing anything on it, she has her nose in a book. And I think TOC sort of taps on the front of the front desk with their beak and gets absolutely no response.
Okay, in that case, the professor, being much taller and can reach to the top of the desk, is going to wrap his knuckles on it, and see if that gets their attention.
Yeah, the librarian looks up and goes, "Yeah, hello. How can I help you?"
Okay. He says two things. One, would you happen to have a record machine or a record player or some other device that would be able to play whatever types of audiobooks you have that might be available on loan or for use at the library, perhaps?
Unfortunately, it's out of order. We're still trying to get all the potato chips out of it.
I see. And he glances down at TOC and shrugs.
Yeah, they shrug back. And the librarian actually follows your gaze and is like, "Oh, hey there, sweetie. You looking for the kids section?" And TOC gives them a very cross look.
I think the professor grins and says, "Well, unless the kids these days are reading quantum physics, probably not. But yeah, he goes past that and just sort of says, how would I heard there was, well, a dungeon in this library.
Yeah, we got one of those. Why can I ask why you're asking?
Because it's interesting.
Oh, well, yeah, we got one of them. It's kind of down.
Right. As they tend to be. Is there a way in? I mean, I assume there would have to be.
Yeah, if you're too loud more than twice, you get stuck down there. It's mostly rowdy kids, just to give them something to do to get the energy out, so they don't do stuff like put potato chips in the record player.
Right. And he is smiling, and it's a little mischievous, and I'm going to have to roll wisdom because he's... Oh, Professor, why? Okay.
Can I? She like sighs and she taps a little sign that's on the front desk that says disruptions specifically in order to get to the library dungeon will result in removal from the building.
Aw. Okay, well, all right, he does sort of deflate at that, but like but he wouldn't have done anything anyway because he rolled a wisdom and got a nat 20.
Oh boy.
So that means he's going to be a good boy and not immediately start screaming in order to go into the dungeon.
I mean,
because that was his other plan.
Out of the corner of your eye, you might see TOC put a very heavy-looking trowel back in a pack that they are carrying around with them.
Oh no! Oh good. I think he all right, just sort of rocks on his heels and like looks away and looks back and says, any back entrances?
I mean, not for the public, if that's what you're asking. Excuse me, young man, but this is a very disturbing line of questioning, if I may say so. We prefer like people to pay more attention to the books than the slightly morally questionable things that we do to people who are too loud. If you get what I'm saying.
Wait, did she actually say young man?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. All right. Okay. He's convinced. He is persuaded. And he's just gonna shrug and be like, well, all right. And like, I see your point, whatever. And he's going to I think glance down at TOC and start going back to the table they were at before. And as soon as they're like at least mostly probably out of earshot, he's just like, what's wrong with just being interested in a dungeon?
TUC will very pointedly pick up their notebook again, and they write. I mean, my first question would have been, "What do you need a dungeon for?" I do have to say.
I just wanted to look at it. What does a library dungeon entail? Are there books in it, or I mean, what level of dungeonry what occurs at a public library where kids are put into it? I mean, now I have more questions. I was honestly just interested in the novelty before, but he just sort of gives an expansive shrug.
TFC does sort of look thoughtful, and they'll write, I mean, do you think they're like, I don't know, chained up skeletons made out of books? Like origami skeletons?
Okay, he looks horrified for the first second, and then when you clarify origami, he looks intrigued. Like, oh, that would be something. That is not what That is not what I was thinking, but that would be quite charming.
I mean, there could also be real skeletons, they write. The one skeleton that they know is very fond of books.
I did. Is that second part like spoken, or
yeah, it's all written.
Okay. So some skeleton who likes books. Yeah, he um he's like, I hope there aren't any real skeletons down there, given the implications. But I suppose it's not impossible. I don't know.
He kind of shrug. I don't know, man. Dead bodies happen sometimes.
I think he's gonna. I think at this point they reach the table, and he's going to sit on it.
Yeah, TOC will sort of flutter up and perch on the opposite edge.
Mm-hmm. He reaches over and pulls one of TOC's books a little closer and takes a look at it. Still leaving it on the table. He's not like taking it, but gives it a look over and he says, if you're really determined to study today, I could help. If it.
Oh, you go.
Yeah, he says, unless understanding, unless parsing common is also difficult. And he like looks up questioningly, like he's basically asking, like, is this, like, I know you can understand me, but like if that's difficult, then like me reading it would not be helpful to you either, probably.
They write. It takes a really bad day for me to lose my ability to understand speech, but honestly, I would like to see this dungeon, if only to spite the woman who I'm pretty sure both called us children.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, no, he just like grins and shakes his head, like they could not have been further from the truth. But
yeah, TOC is like sort of like, it might be like a little bit humorous to you to have this like a chicken. Chickens don't live that long. Just be like, also like, yeah, it's, imagine calling me a child. Actually, I mean, I'll put this up to you, Oatmeal. I don't want to load this up too much with TOC lore, but they do have some like time shenanigans shit.
What?
Do you want to roll to see if
yes,
Professor? I don't know what sort of role that would be to be like time shenanigans shit. But
if they've traveled in time, that is something he may be able to sense.
Haven't traveled. Well, maybe they've traveled. They've traveled as much as like sort of the Homestuck joke of they've traveled at 1 second per second. It could be Arcana. It could be history. It could be like, you know, your character's ability to do time stuff.
Yeah.
Better than I do.
Yeah. Let me see. Geez, how would he figure that out? I guess.
It could even just be a perception. Like at this point, just pick the highest roll or pick the highest modifier.
Yeah, perception is probably actually the best one anyway. Let's see. I
just would like to say for the recording that from our wonderful audience member, we have the suggestion of the vibe check. 21.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hey,
it was perception.
You needed a D after the exclamation mark.
Oh, yeah, that's if I was, okay, yeah, no, I didn't establish. I'm rolling on the, D&D Beyond page. So I'm just putting what I got plus the, modifier. I'm not actually rolling in Dice Parser.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah,
because I can. Okay.
Yeah, no, I trust you.
Okay.
I mean, 21's pretty good. I think that I mean, sort of. I'm not sure how like he senses stuff, but sort of as they're moving around and talking to you, like it's subtle, and it's not recent, but like it feels like a very long time, if that makes sense. Like they've come into contact with like a tangible noun a very long time.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Like
yeah.
Like imagine like if someone ate an eternity sandwich and like you could smell it on their breath like it was onion.
Yeah, no, that is like canonically something he can sense, more or less. So like, yeah, if they've had a brush with whatever you want to call it, the time vortex, time powers, etc. Eternity sandwich. And like, yeah, he can just straight up like sense that. Like he gets the vibe, he gets the aura.
He in fact a vibe check. And
yeah.
Actually there's a second part to it too. Because it feels like a long time. But it also feels sort of like like there's a little bit of like decay, or like when you sort of walk into like a rotting barn and you sort of have that wet sort of earth smell. Like it feels like not undead, not like anything necromantic in nature, although like maybe something similar. But like it doesn't like it feels sort of moist and rotting.
Nice. Okay, so yes, I love it. Okay, so he they were talking about like haha, yeah, no, we're not children. And he looks a little closer, and because first his thought was just like, well, I mean, obviously this is adult chicken. Like, haven't you heard of the life cycle of like birds? No, but like but no, as he's looking and being like, yeah, no, definitely, like those are adult feathers and whatever. But like he gets this sense, and then he looks less amused and more like surprised. And he says, though you may be an interesting case, aren't you?
They kind of look. Oh, you go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
With regard to age,
They actually kind of look up at you surprised, because no one's actually picked up on that before.
Right, who would?
And they again, they start to sign, and then they stop because, oh my god, they have to. Jesus. And they pick up the notebook and they write. Yes, it's. I don't know many chickens who made it to 60, I think. And I am certainly not young enough to be anyone's child.
Right. Yeah, he, just because the visual is really funny, I think he like,
Actually, oh man, I just contradicted my lord. God damn it. Because they don't know they're 60. They just know they're heckin' old.
Okay. Do you want to just say, like, you know, probably over such and such age? Like, if they could estimate that much?
They actually can't.
Oh, jeez.
I think that.
Could
actually,
they guess?
You know what? Sorry, I'm playing Kelvin Ball here, and this is a little bit uncomfortable for everyone, I'm sure. But they actually they write that, and then they stop and they look down at it like, hang on. And they look extremely thrown. And they like they go back with their pencil and they, they erase where they wrote 60. And then they go to write something else, but they sort of hesitate.
Yeah, I think he notices that, and he just sort of he brings his legs up on the table and, like, puts his head in his hands and says, like, yeah, can't remember just how old you are, huh? It's annoying when that happens.
I think that they, like, start to write something else and then stop, and they just sort of, like, pat you on the back, like, that's rough, buddy.
But now he's intrigued. So he he asks, so you don't remember most of it, some of it, I suppose?
They write, I definitely lived for 6 years. And then something happened, and I'm not sure how long it took. And then I woke up to something very different. I can really only go off of how old I feel, and that is not a science.
Right. Yeah. Huh. Curious.
They just sort of like, they're just sitting there, man. This is not a aspect of their life they're used to people paying attention to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Uh, geez, I don't know. I'm kind of stuck.
Yeah, I think, like, they're just going to sort of awkwardly write, anyways. Do you know what's probably older than me? The dungeon. Let's go do that.
Oh, yes, right. He actually, I mean, where they are, they probably can't see the front desk. But he's going to look around anyway to see if there are like any other like patrons like paying attention to them. Actually, I suppose I should roll perception.
Actually, yeah, I was gonna ask for one of them at some point.
Yeah.
Sorry, I waylaid us with a bunch of unanswered questions.
That's okay. I mean, you got to start somewhere. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, that's terrible. I got an 11.
No, I'm going to also roll. That's a nat 20.
Wow.
Dang. All right. So, with the 11, like, you see a couple folks just sort of milling around. But then TOC, like, sort of yanks at your sleeve with their beak, and they point to a very tall, thin librarian with a book cart, who sort of surreptitiously looks around and apparently rolls really low on their perception, because they reach up and there's like a torch in a sconce, like sort of, and they sort of reach up and yank down on it, and with a Scooby-Doo sound effect, one of the bookshelves sort of slides to the side, and they walk the book cart through.
Oh my gosh. Yes, perfect. Classic. Let me see if he has anything that would remotely help with this. Maybe if we get to a certain point, but not here.
Actually, well, I'm going to take a sec and.
Oh yeah, it's it's TOC that sees this anyhow. He doesn't.
Yeah, well,
no, wait, no, but they. Yeah, no, you're right. They got his attention. You're right.
Yeah.
You were saying you wanted to do something?
I'm just gonna roll another history check real quick.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 4. Yeah, we're focused. We're on it. We just found a secret passage.
Nice. In that case, he is going to get off the table, and he's going to like offer an arm to TOC, like if they want.
They flap up and they perch on your shoulder, kind of like a parrot.
Love it. Excellent. And then he's gonna go for that door.
Yeah, I mean, you saw the mechanism. You can
yeah, he's gonna pull the thing and see what's on the other side.
It actually, wait, this is a new environment. Roll another perception check.
Okay, oops, okay, wrong channel, but I got a 14.
A 14 and a 10. Yeah, with your 14, you see a suitably dimly lit hallway going downwards. With there's shelves, but instead of like the nice sort of hardwood shelves that there were in the library proper, these are like hardware shelves. And they are packed with books. There's like occasionally there will be like a gas lamp sort of squirreled away like on top of a stack, or like a pile of half melted candles which are providing the light.
Yeah.
But like it's very chaotic. It's very like this isn't a place that's set up for reference. This is a place that is set up for storage. And there's the main, sort of corridor that's sort of sloping gently downwards. And then there is a intersection between like there's a path forward, there's a path to the left, and there's a path to the right, all of which are also sloping gently downwards.
Nice.
Yeah. I would just like to disclaimer. I didn't check with any of the dungeon masters who have used this setting before me. I did not greenlight any of this, so like, if any of this contradicts like anything that Snail or Owl or Fable have used this place for, it's a weird dream.
Yeah.
They fell asleep reading, and this is a weird dream.
Yeah, yeah. This we can even like we actually, given our time, it's different library. Hey, might as well might be the other dungeon library. But given our time, we may not actually even reach the dungeon proper, so we might just be fooling around in the side bits.
Jeez.
So honestly, I think he's just going to take like a few steps down and pick a random book off the shelf. Let's see what it is.
It is an Einquillian history of dungeons.
Incredible.
No, it's a mimic. No, it's not. But it is a very thin volume because there's not a lot of Einquillian history, especially not pertaining to dungeons. But if you sort of flip through it, like it's like minimum 2 skeletons, weird stains on the dungeon walls, sort of referenced A to Z. There's
there's a few
almost like set direction, like if you're going to set up like a backdrop.
Nice. That's very good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, he's downloaded this book into his brain. He puts it back, and looks at TOC and says, "Well, I think we're solidly in a place where we're not supposed to be. Where do you want to go?"
They sort of like scrunch their necks so that they can see you, like, from where they are on your shoulder. I imagine, like, they're sort of like, they have to lean to the side to not have their head in your hair. I mean, they just sort of point, forward.
All right, he keeps going.
Yeah.
And I guess at that intersection, what, there was left, right, forward?
Yeah.
I think he's just going to take the forward path.
Fair enough. Again, with our time, we don't have a lot of it left, but there would have been the funny bit of, like, you go through the right doorway, you end up in the left doorway. Sort of like the Scooby-Doo chase scene.
Yes. That's very good.
Yeah. Actually, is there... I don't think there's an FPS after us. We don't have to go overtime if you don't want, but like also I don't feel
I'm
like
good. I'm good. If we want to wrap this up, kind of not rush it too much. I did actually just check the calendar. There's no FPS after us.
Oh, nice, wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see what we do and don't have time for.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you keep going, and like it's very much still a Toon library, and like the books are like occasionally there'll be one that's just like plain, cardboard and paper, but like some of them are UPN books, and they're sort of like squiggly and stylized. Others are Ghiblian, and like they look very satisfying to like run your fingers over.
Yeah.
Some are some comically large rubber hose books. There's also a couple that are like they look very gothic, and they've got chains around them. Like you know the aesthetic, like the Harry Potter restricted section.
Absolutely. Forbidden books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And after a while, you start to hear something, and I'm not going to make you roll perception for it because it's extremely loud in this kind of weirdly echoey little space.
Yeah.
And you hear it sounds like whistling.
Huh.
Like it just a generic, like it could be Whiskey in the Jar, it could be Steamboat Willie, like like it's one of those, like they're bad enough at keeping a tune that it could be absolutely any tune. And the farther along you go, the closer you are to happening upon whoever's whistling.
I think he's going to pause and say quietly to TFC, do we want to risk getting caught or just keep going?
TFC will write in the notebook and then stick it down to your face level so you can see it. I don't really have a stake here. It go big or go home? Question mark.
Yeah. All right. He's going to he nods and keeps going forward faster this time.
Would you like to roll a stealth? Or would you like to not to?
Would I what?
Would you like to roll a stealth, or would you like not to roll a stealth and just
He is not stealthing. He is just striding along.
After a few minutes, the sound sort of changes. Like the whistling kind of trails off, and how do I describe this? Like for a second, you're like, oh, that's the sound of footsteps, but it's also a very familiar sound of footsteps. Like you wouldn't think of footsteps as familiar, but like it's sort of like it kind of has the cadence of something that you've heard before. And this goes on for a few seconds, and then you realize that's the sound of your own footsteps if they happened a half second after your own footfalls. Like there is the sound of your foot hitting the floor, and then there's whatever you're walking towards.
Okay, that's wild. Yeah, he I almost want to roll for something, but no, he's just gonna go for it. He's just going to I think he might do a test first, which is I think he's going to stomp his foot and see how long of a delay there is.
I mean, like maybe a half second later, or maybe a full second later, there is a stomp.
Yeah.
Just the pattern that you've stomped your foot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, if it's coming from ahead of him, he's just gonna go over there. He's just gonna keep going because that's wild.
Yep. So if you keep going, you eventually round the corner, and there is a very tall, sort of willowy figure standing in the middle of the hallway with a mop and a bucket. And they are facing towards the hallway that you're coming from already, as if they were
expecting us.
Yeah, like they heard you coming.
And right. I mean, it was making noise. Yeah.
They, as you step a little bit closer, the echo of your own footsteps persist, and as you get closer, you can see that they are making the footfall noises perfectly with their own mouth.
Wow, I hate that.
Oh. Oh boy. They're sort of like they're taller than the professor, probably. Like you're a tall guy, but they are like unfairly tall. They've got long, stringy hair that goes down to maybe mid-shin, and two very wide, very reflective eyes. Like that you can literally, like they are sort of this pearlescent white, and you can literally see your reflection approaching in them.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god. Okay. I have something I want to do. Let's see. Well, he's gonna cast detect evil and good. For let's see. Duration
vibe check.
Concentration of 10 minutes. Wait, what?
The true vibe check.
Absolutely. For the duration, even if there's an aberration, celestial, elemental, fey, fiend, or undead within 30 feet of you, as well as where they're located. Also, I know if there's a place or object within 30 feet that has been magically consecrated or desecrated. And that's about it.
I mean, you definitely get some pings from like the bookshelves around you. It's kind of, it's sort of,
probably some random such and such energy from the books.
Yeah, there's like a sort of a brochure looking thing that actually gives off some very intense evil vibes. Like a couple steps down the hall behind you. But the figure in front of you actually, what if you were to detect good and evil on a time czar, what would you pick up?
Good lord. You let me see. Are they technically blah 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 blah? They might register as like a diluted warped like celestial sort of vibe. But also like he can he has a even without that spell, he has a sense for recognizing other time czars.
That's good to know, because this creature is definitely not a time czar. But you do get sort of wobbly, like if a time czar is already sort of a warped version of that, like this is already sort of like a warbly sort of refracted version of that warpedness. And then they kind of shift to the side, like the angle at which you're looking at them shifts, and then that sort of lessens, and you sort of get like that same sort of weird energy that you got off TOC. And you might extrapolate. You can decide whether or not this is an intelligence roll or not. That you're not getting, like, this is just like a tune. Yeah. But they are reflecting what you would use this spell to sense off of you two.
Wild. Okay. Yeah. Toon Janitor said, "No, you." I know you are, but what am I? Jeez. I mean, at this point, he's just gonna raise his eyebrows and say, "Hello."
"Hello," says the Toon in exactly the same voice.
Ah! Me, the player, hates this.
Oh, but I can tone it down. I should say this is
no. It's I love it. No. I love it, but it is just the sort of like creepy thing that like it's very good.
Thank you. It's this is all off the dome, I should say. I didn't prep any NPCs for this. I should have.
That's fine. We didn't know what we were gonna do.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
But they are. Oh, you go.
Yeah. I mean, he. I think he glances at TOC and says, like, I have a feeling we're not gonna get anywhere with this person.
Not gonna get anywhere with this person. They actually, they're wearing like some overalls that have been very visibly altered. Like there are second pants, trousers sewn to the hems of the first so that they fit. They pull out of the bib of their overalls a calling card, sort of, that says one word, rubber and your glue.
Okay.
And they sort of let you hold it for a sec, and then they flip it over, and it says, "Are you lost?"
Geez. He says, well, I know how to get back to the library, but I was looking for the dungeon.
Looking for the dungeon. And they sort of, like, they lean on their mop sort of considerately. And they point down the hallway, and then they sort of make a motion with their hand to the left.
Yeah, I think he just gives them a cheery thank you and and skips along down that hallway.
And behind you, you can hear the skipping of your own footsteps slowly fade.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and once that person is well and truly behind the two of you,
right.
TOC will hand down their notebook and it says, "What the fuck?"
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. No, you said it.
Anyways, they kind of like shake themselves and fluff themselves up, which might encroach a little bit on the space where your head would sort of optimally be.
Right.
But
That's fine.
You now have directions to the dungeons.
All right. I think I'm trying to figure out how to conclude this without us actually like having to know anything about the dungeon.
I mean, you could always go right.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, no. I think the professor's gonna slow down a bit, and just say like, I think that's enough of that for today. And he's gonna go right instead of.
Yeah, it's it probably takes you the two of them a fair bit to find like a stairwell, but there's like a fire exit sort of like this building's up to code, like so yeah, you
there's an exit somewhere.
Yeah, like it's if the building like burns down, they like can't have people trapped in the creepy janitor's hallway.
Catacombs.
Yeah, the janitor's catacombs. This library has everything.
All right, so they end up what, in the library, on the outside, like the back of it, or?
I'm gonna say they wind up behind the front desk. And the librarian from before just sort of slowly turns around, like, "So you met the janitor, huh?"
He just nods.
Yeah. Anyways. And she just sort of like awkwardly gestures for you to go around to the right side of the desk.
Yeah, he's gonna slide out from around the desk and go back to their original TOC's original table, and just sit on the table again, and just like, well.
Yeah, I think TOC will. One last history. One last history for the road.
Okay, you want me to roll?
No, this is TOC.
Oh, okay.
You know what? It's the end of the FPS. We've been here for over an hour. I would like to... Actually, hang on. I'm gonna say that it takes them a while. Like, you start doing something else. Like, you start, like, your idea earlier of having the professor read to TOC. Like, it's... They find one of the chairs, and they just sort of, like, spread out. And then in the middle of maybe like the second book, like it's sort of getting into the latter half of the afternoon. TOC is like flipping through their notebook, and they go back to the letter that they were writing when you first came upon them.
Mm-hmm.
And they sort of stop, and like you can sort of like see them processing something.
Uh-huh.
And they're going to say, oh, or they start to sign it, and then they go, God damn it, and get their notebook one more time, and they say, you're the displaced traveler. You're the guy from the thing with the dead body in the closet.
Have you met who did you hear that from?
They flipped to the very first page in the notebook, the one they were using before they started using it as a translator. And you can see that they have started the first few lines of a letter to Seeker.
That explains it. Yes. Yes, that is me. What a description. Thank you, Seeker.
Gosh.
That's great.
And
boy.
Like we sort of, I think that the camera pans out on them, like starting to sign, like visibly like swearing in their head and going back to the notebook, and just sort of being like, "Hey, we know the same satyr, isn't he great? Like this is a bonehead thing that he did. He tried to headbutt a metal centaur."
Oh wow! Did it go well?
No, it did not. Like it's
of course.
Yeah, and like we can say that they spend the rest of their days reading books and talking about their good friend.
Their good mutual acquaintance. A good mutual friend. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect.
This was so much fun.
Yeah. Thank you for taking the reins, because I had no idea where to go.
Thank you for agreeing to this. I threw you some curveballs here.
Sure. Yeah. I absolutely loved it though, and I love that they ended up reading together at the end. All right. Let's see. We should close out. Thank you, everybody, for listening, present and future listeners. Thank you, author, for playing with me. This was honestly really cute.
Yeah, thank you.
And yeah, and I had a good time. And so we're gonna stop the recording here. Goodbye.
Bye, folks.